Hey, Meth.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to see you. It's been a full-on week, hasn't it?
It has been a pretty full-on week. Yeah. It
Yeah.
watching the. We had our daughter sitting on the couch, and we turned the news on, and there was all the protests in America. So we had to try and find a way of explaining it. And when you try and explain it to a 9-year-old, it's interesting because it makes it even worse
Mm.
because you strip what some people are doing to other people and you strip the system down to the simplest way you can describe it, and you just go, oh man, that's fucked. I
Yeah.
mean, you knew it anyway, but when it's a reductive explanation of it for a 9-year-old,
Mm.
it's, yeah, so off to a socially distanced, physically distanced march tomorrow.
It's me too. You
Yeah,
and me both, Alan.
yeah,
And yeah, I think it's important to show up and do some learning about a lot of things,
yeah.
and listening too. That's the main thing that's come out for those of us who enjoy a life of privilege, which mean because of the colour of our skin. So yeah, I'll be there as well. So I'll see you there.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. From what I have read and what I have heard, people often say, "But what can I do?" Well, listen.
Listen, show up and listen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
exactly it. So,
I agree.
and look, on a completely different note, happy birthday for a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do you enjoy it, or do you like just drink a bottle of red wine and go to bed?
Oh, look, I used to hate birthdays. I'd actually found them quite depressing. I'm not sure why. I've never really been a fan of milestones because I feel like they make you reflect in ways that maybe you don't, and you think about what you haven't done or should have done, or things like that. So I wasn't really into birthdays, but in the last couple of years, I've just really embraced Christmas, birthdays. I'm into it. I love it. I had, because we were still in Victorian lockdown rules here, so I could only have 5 people over. So I had two of my brothers over and their partners and
Yeah.
the kids, and it was unreal. Had a ball. And I hadn't seen, people around for ages, and it felt so good. It felt like I was, coming back to reality a little bit, which was just wonderful. It was a beautiful way to spend the birthday. I enjoyed it. Thank
I
you.
spoke to a family friend in New Zealand, and he had his 80th birthday by himself. But he is a very positive sort of person. He said they had Zoom drinks in the evening, and it was
Yeah.
every member of his family. And he said, I never would have seen all of them at the same time
Lovely.
without this being the case. So it was really interesting that his wife died a number of years ago. So he is genuinely on his own in his
Mm.
house. And he's 80, so he's not going out anywhere.
No, 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 not at all.
But he still finds something positive in being able to see all his family on Zoom. It was really something.
Yeah,
So,
isn't that beautiful? I mean, in a way, I feel like this whole lockdown experience has connected us all a bit more to what's important.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I know this is a weird question, but did you have a 21st?
I did have a 21st.
How was? Oh, good, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad I know that smile. So yeah, just tell us all the things that happened.
All the things that happened. Well, I can't remember a lot of things. It was a long time ago. But the theme was dress up. You had to dress as your ultimate fantasy. So
Oh,
whoever you ever wanted to be in life. And I went as Jane, like Tarzan and Jane. I think it was just because I wanted to wear leopard print. And I do remember at one point there, because we used to have a lounge room upstairs. I remember at one point there was so many people in the house that the floor upstairs was like, and it was in a terrace house. The floor was moving, and I remember thinking at one point, "Oh my God, this could all go very, very pear-shaped." this is not going to, but then I just went, oh, well, bad luck. Then we kept going. And we survived.
Yeah.
Look, I had an unfortunate experience, and a friend gave me some biscuits of a variety that perhaps you wouldn't sell at a shop, if you know what I mean. And I didn't have them. I didn't have those biscuits, but they were with all my presents beside the bed. And I had a dog at the time, beautiful Ellie, who lived to a ripe old age of 17, who happened to find those biscuits the next day and had a little nibble. And so imagine that. I've had my 21st. I've had one of the biggest nights of my life. The next day, my dog is standing at the bottom of the staircase just looking up. She doesn't know how to get up the stairs anymore. It was awful. It was so awful. But I rang the vets and he said, don't worry, it happens all the time. And he said, she'll be right. Just sit with her and go through it. But she lived to a ripe old age and she was a beautiful dog. And,
she was a beautiful dog.
Yeah, but that was the time. That was my 21st. That's what I remember from that. It was like the highs and then the lows and the terror, because I just thought, oh my God, what have I done? I'm a terrible animal parent. I just didn't think.
I remember we used to have these warehouse parties in Wellington because we really wanted to live in New York. But there we go. They were still fun. And so everyone had these big warehouses because it was the middle of the 80s, and these places, just inner city warehouses, you just had them for practically nothing. I mean, they were freezing cold and probably full of asbestos.
Probably.
We had one where there was a mezzanine floor where all the music equipment was set up. And what would happen is that there were lots of filmmakers, and they would make these serious films about important topics, none of which I can remember. But what we would do is there was a bunch of us who would provide live music for the ones that didn't have soundtracks. And so this older guy came along with this carrot cake, and he said, there's not just carrot in it, Alan. And I thought, well, maybe there's zucchini as well, because that is a common additive to the carrot.
Yeah, that's true.
What a fucking idiot. So and did the classic, I was 19, committed the classic rookie mistake of having a slice of this cake before we were doing this gig.
Oh
and
my God.
And he said to me, it's got hash in it, Alan. And I went, oh, okay, nice one. Eat it. Waited about 20 minutes and went, not a lot's happening. I know what I'll do. Because I'm an experienced drug expert. I'll have another slice.
No.
I know. So
tell me about the gig. How did you perform?
Well,
did you play the same songs as everybody else?
No, it was improvisational.
Oh, even better.
It was like improvised electronic jazz. And, I mean, which sounds like the worst thing ever, and is actually the worst thing ever. It's like Miles Davis and Kraftwerk taking hash and then just shouting at each other. I think that's probably what it sounded like. But we were off our tits, and we just thought, oh my God, what we are doing is amazing. We
are the most amazing people and talents. And hello, Steve. This is a rare appearance.
Oh.
Steve.
Oh, Steve. You look so angry.
He's so angry about the way life is at the moment with the puppy. He's been hissing like for a good solid month now.
That poor Vivian must just be getting absolutely pummeled.
She doesn't care. She just doesn't care. She just keeps going back for more, going, why don't you like me? Anyway, continue.
Oh, well, we did the gig, and it was just like, I remember just thinking, I was playing the keyboards and I have no formal training. And in fact, I have no informal training. And I just thought, oh my God, this is blowing everyone's minds.
And was it?
Yeah, because they were all in a similar state. Like there were a couple of people who were straight and they looked at us like, you people should never be allowed to play music again. But all the filmmakers and the people with, ponytails and things were just like, man, it was like you were just like channeling the film. I mean, it was a bit because of how we were watching the film and playing along with it. But, it's you want to use words like channel when you're high on carrot cake.
Carrot cake.
Yeah. I remember being at a party one time and there was a big plate of biscuits and there was a sign in it, a toothpick with a sign attached to it. It said, if you don't know what these are, don't eat them. Mm. And we're all just hanging out in the kitchen. The party hadn't really started going, but there was a bunch of us hanging out in the kitchen and this woman came in and looked at the biscuits and went, and had one. And then about 10 minutes later came back. Oh, she says to everyone, these are really tasty. Oh, we think. You're not normally having them for the taste, but there you go. About an hour later, she comes back and she says, those had marijuana in them. And we're just like, yep. And she said, I'm a policewoman. I'm calling my colleagues and they're going to come and arrest you. We're just like, oh, okay. And then the host of the party, who was a very relaxed sort of guy, and I mean, it was only a few years ago. It wasn't like an 18-year-old's party. He just came in and he very quietly said to this woman, you are the only person here who is stoned at the moment. And when your colleagues come round, there will be no evidence of anything apart from you being stoned. She cracked it.
I bet she did.
Stormed out the door. Well, did that thing where stormed out the wrong way because she was high and then stormed back even more stormy because of how she'd gone the wrong way and then just left. And then this guy came in and said, have you seen my wife? And we went, is she a policewoman? He went, yeah, how did you know? We went, nah, she's out the front waiting for you, I suspect.
Greening out.
Poor guy just looked really confused, like, wow, they can pick the police. Maybe we shouldn't have come here in the first place.
Oh, you could have all been arrested, Alan.
We could have all been arrested by a stoned policewoman.
Poor woman.
Just trying to stick the key in the car or do the beeping thing. Like, beep, beep, beep. Oh, is it open or closed? Beep, beep, beep.
Just sticking it into a letterbox.
Yeah, exactly. And by the time she'd got the car open, we're all straight again because it's gone through our systems.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, so many people have had that experience of going, oh, one of these is just not working.
Yeah.
And then, just gobbling a few more down and then spending the next 2 hours talking to the toilet. Like actually just having a conversation.
Yeah. Or just lying around looking at the sky going, why have I done this?
I've got a friend, I haven't seen him for years. He's just a wonderful guy called Gordon. And we were first year university. And I mean, this is such a first year university thing to happen. It was about 3 a.m. and we passed joints around and we'd been drinking cask red wine and we're lying on the floor of the lounge listening to Purple Rain, the record, like the whole record. And so we listen to the first side, someone gets up and changes it, we listen to it, and of course it finishes with the greatest anthem about rain that is purple ever. And we suddenly, the last strains of Purple Rain fade out. And my friend Gordon just sits bolt upright and he goes, I get it. I get what Prince is trying to say on this record. And then the next 3/4 of an hour, he told us, and we're all like, dude, you got it. Like, that's exactly what Prince is trying to do. No idea. Almost straight away afterwards what Gordon had said.
No one can remember.
No one. Because I said to him, man, that stuff you said about Prince last night, I hope you remember because I don't. He went, what stuff? And I went, he said, you understood Purple Rain like in a spiritual way. And he went, no, I've got
Well, in a way, you know, you go, thank God those days weren't filmed, because none of us would have careers. If that was on. But also it would have been wonderful to have that filmed, if you could remember what it was that Prince was channeling and your mate understanding it.
It's really interesting, that whole filming thing. You know, the Streets, the band The Streets, well, the musician The Streets.
Mike Skinner, yeah.
Yeah, Mark, there's I think it's on the second record. He's got a song about everyone's got a camera and how you can't do anything anymore. And it is a weird thought that when you're our age, I'm really glad that so many things that I did were not captured on film.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then you have an experience like my partner has found all these photos that someone is posting on Facebook of two particular clubs in Auckland in the 80s and 90s.
Mm.
And there's tons of people in them that we know.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's just a child in a bathrobe, just in the middle of the afternoon, going outside to play, probably with another child who's in their bathrobe. Because it's the homeschooling finished today.
Yay. Congratulations, Alan. Well done. Do we call you sir, as in teacher, sir, or no?
No, some of the things I've been called, you wouldn't call an actual teacher.
Oh my God. Hey, I just wanted to say on that filming thing though, as much as it's benefited us in that our youth was not captured, what filming has actually, everyone having camera phones has actually done is highlight, like think about all the events of this week.
Yeah, true.
Highlight the racism, and I think it was like Will Smith said this week, the racism is always the racism has always been there. It's just now that it's getting filmed and people are seeing it, you know. So it's like that's pretty powerful, isn't it?
It's incredibly powerful.
That thing we hold in our hand is part of hopefully exposing that systemic injustice that's, you know, clearly running right through everything. So
well, yeah, and it has exposed it. The problem is that it's been exposed. So what happens now?
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah.
Sorry to bring the vibe down again.
No, I think it's important to say these things out loud. It's just
Yeah.
I wish I had something interesting to say, but you can't. I watch the news and I just weep.
Yeah.
Because I cannot even imagine what life is like for people who cannot go into a shop without being tailed by a security guard. And who are always assumed to be doing something wrong. That is totally beyond my ken. And the thing that you said before about turning up and listening, I think we can only empathise as well. And I think there is there's a propensity for some people to go, I understand your pain.
No.
I have no chance of ever understanding it.
No, we've got no idea.
Yeah.
No.
Like I've got a better chance of understanding the pain of childbirth if someone, for instance, hit me in the balls with a cricket bat repeatedly for every 4 minutes for between 16 and 32 hours. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong in that time, but you know, I have a much better chance of understanding physical pain than I understand the systemic pain and the suspicion and the, you know, the idea of this is, I was reading this essay by a guy called Ta-Nehisi Coates, and he basically said as it gets warmer where he grew up, you walked home a different way, because in that neighbourhood, when it got hotter, things actually heated up violence-wise. I mean, I can't even. I just can't imagine. So and thus, because I can't, I talk about eating banana cake and playing improvisational electronic jazz over films that were probably about systemic racism.
Well, what we can do though, Alan, is like the only thing we can do is use our platforms and hope and share information, and use that for good. I reckon that's the way forward for those of us who are bloody privileged,
Yeah.
We need to shut up and we need to listen, but we also need to use our platforms to make sure that everybody knows that what's happening is not acceptable. Yeah. Yeah. You nearly got an appearance from Merv too. He just disappeared. They're all coming in.
I think we should, I feel like we should finish on something funny.
Yeah.
But it feels inappropriate.
Yeah.
So I think maybe go to some marches, everyone.
Yeah.
And, just so you know, depending on what time you're watching this, it is cocktail hour while we're filming this. Like, we don't do this at 10 o'clock in the morning and you've just gone, wait,
are you sure?
Is that guy off Specs and Specs drinking in the morning?
To be honest, I imagine there's quite a few people who are homeschooling that would be drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning, given how hard it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if teachers drink at 10 o'clock in the morning.
After what you've experienced, now you probably know.
Yeah, the thing is that they're professionals. They've trained for many years. My only training is really in, well, actually, Myth, it's really interesting. I'm actually trained in nothing. I'm formally trained in nothing apart from the only thing I've been formally trained to do is handwriting.
Are you a professional handwriter?
Well, no, that's the problem. I'm not even at professional level. I just do it because it's necessary sometimes.
Oh.
Like skywriting is too expensive, so I use a pen.
Use a pen. But I thought you'd be a trained thespian.
No, I never trained. I just did. And I mean, you're born a thespian.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't realise. It's not a choice, Myth.
It's not a choice.
And I've never been formally trained in anything,
Wow, you've done all right. Good on you.
Yeah, look, I've never been formally trained in, for instance, piercing things, and I've done a lot of people's ears with an ice cube and a heated up needle.
Oh, don't even talk about it. I'll be sick as I'm sitting here. I can't.
So, so I actually have no formal training in anything. Unlike you went to the...
Well, yeah, you seem like you are the smartest man I know, so formal training or not, you are a professor in my books.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to put that on I'm going to try and get my passport changed to Professor Alan Brown. If they say, what qualifications have you got?
You can, because when you get plane tickets, even though you don't fly, they have the options. You can put doctor or professor. You should just start doing that. I might start doing it. I think we should all start doing it.
Yeah, we should.
When you make your bookings.
Well, particularly at the moment, if you put doctor, people would go, thank you for your service. And then I'd feel really, really guilty and say, no, I lied, I'm just a professor. And I'd say, I've got a qualification from the being told I'm smart from Warhurst University.
Can you hear, there's a low rumble in the room. There's a standoff, it seems.
Is there? Okay, you better go and sort it out before the animals beat each other.
Where are they? I better go.
Yeah, you better go. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Love you.
Love you too.
Take care.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah.